this meeting to order. This is the Parks Commission meeting, May 12th, and let's do a roll call.
Diana Wallace.
Laurie Mills.
Sean Downing.
Melissa Morrow.
Rhett Bennett.
Mary Elizabeth Cofer.
Victoria Johnson.
Great. All right. Well, I'm very optimistic this will be a very productive meeting today. And let's start with the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from April?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Great. Girls softball, Steve, is nobody on? Okay. All right. Well, then I know Western Hills Little League and girls softball are in season. If Steve comes later, then we'll have him give us an update. Western Hills Athletic Club, I know that they've made a lot of progress with their tennis courts. And I think they finished all their pool renovation part, and they just have a railing to reinstall. But we'll probably see a lot of cement trucks coming through Rollingwood in the next couple of weeks. It looks like they're getting ready to pour for at least the first two courts, I believe. So I don't have anything else to update there.
Do you know when they're scheduled to be done?
Well, so it was supposed to be April 31st.
Well, that's what I thought. I told Jason, I was like, I'm pretty sure they were supposed to be done
Yeah.
at the end of May.
And
he was like, no way.
yeah, no, I think
So I
they're
was
still.
curious if what update we had on
I
that.
think they're still hoping for June 1-ish.
Okay.
But I have not heard a new date. And so so speaking to the rain gods, if you could rain but not flood them out, that probably would be really helpful, because I'm sure that's impacted them.
So is there anybody from Western Hills Athletic Club listening in or in this meeting right now?
No.
Because I've had a problem, as I've discussed with Alan, with some of the trucks coming in and actually asking people to move their vehicles because they want to park on our property.
Well,
And I think they were only given permission to use that entrance for the cement trucks so they wouldn't be backed up on the street. Is that correct?
Yes.
But they have abused that privilege.
okay. Well, I will get back to them and let them know that.
They've actually even asked city workers
Okay.
to move.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll remind them of that they need to be good neighbors during their construction.
Can we get an update from them on the plan for fencing?
Sure.
Because they're taking down fencing, and so I'm curious
What
what's
they
going to go
decided
in
to
its
replace.
place.
And I think really that I think we have a small group that can talk to them directly about that and maybe negotiate what we want that fence to look like.
Yeah, that would be great. Because it's going to, I presume, not just be the area that was impacted because if they're going to redo the whole fence, you're not going to just do half of it, right? And half of that goes towards the park, half of it goes towards Rollingwood Drive. There's planting considerations for the neighbors that are across the street. So we just want to make sure that, I just want to
Yeah.
know what the plan is so we can have a conversation with them about it.
Understood.
Let's get them to come to the June meeting. But
Yeah.
between now and then, let's make sure maybe our smaller committee can go to their next board meeting and just say, hey, we'd like to listen more. One of the biggest problems is the last two board meetings they had were exactly at this time.
Right.
So we're speaking out there to you, to the pool, please, we'd like to get with you even if it's a smaller committee group. I think that's Sean and Lori?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, great.
News to us, but we'll do it.
No, I remember something about that, but I
Yeah.
wanted to hear their plan first. I just don't know anything as to what they're
I
going
don't
to
think they had one
Right.
on what they wanted the fence, but since it's a shared fence, then they want to talk to us and make sure
I thought
aesthetics
they
look
came to
similar.
one meeting and then they never heard anything more from them, and I thought they would come regularly.
Yeah.
So it's going good.
All right, so the next part is talking about, so we did have a park design group meeting last Friday. We had 2 RCDC members, 2 council members, and Lori and myself. and Kurt, and we had what I thought was a very productive meeting. And we're going to duplicate, in many ways, that same conversation. And so one of the things that we did was Kurt went through the 12 iterations that we have gone through with this group, and sort of it's, making sure we know not everyone has been to every single one of these meetings, and so this is sort of our last great recap before tomorrow's council meeting. And what my hope is that we can land on something that the Parks Commission also can recommend in a motion and say, this is the best plan that we could come up with all the time and efforts that we've made. That may or may not happen today, but that would be my goal. That, we've spent a lot of time talking about this. We've heard back from our neighbors, from Western Hills Little League, from the people who use the off-leash area. And we've really come up with what we think has, all the benefits that we currently enjoy with the trail, but adds in having a new parking area and a separate off-leash area. So, Kurt, can I ask you to run through our 12 iterations and sort of the synopsis? And if you don't mind going to the lectern, and then maybe Lindsay will be your Vanna up at the screen and touch things and move them around as you like.
Great.
Cool.
I apologize to anybody that was here on Friday. Nice to hear me.
No problem.
It's appreciated, thank you.
I told Melissa I really don't like public speaking, but I've been doing it so much that who knows, I might.
We could have just recorded you and
Would
then
you have?
hit play again.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I started off last time by saying about 7 or 8 months ago, I was asked to work on just the parking lot area, and the goal really was to just kind of provide a parking lot that was organized, where people knew where to park, and especially improvements there at the north end. At this point we were talking about doing that with the grass paved, and then the rest of the parking lot. At this stage, I was considering just asphalt with concrete curbs, but in this version we had about 68 spaces. We were also kind of controlling the access to the north parking lot, which is the green shown up there with a gate. So this was our first attempt. The other things we were doing was trying to beautify the parking lot with some of the boulders and plantings like has been done previously, especially the entrance off of Rollingwood Drive. Okay, next please. And so this was just a quick sketch of what that might look like, how we're using native plants and boulders.
Where is this?
This is what it would, coming off of Rollingwood Drive, and those are those two big oak trees that kind of frame that entrance.
The entrance to the park,
Yeah.
The driveway.
the driveway in between the pool and and
Okay.
Gentry.
Yes, exactly.
I remember there's a crepe myrtle there, and there is an oak over there, further in, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two really nice oaks that kind of arch over the drive there.
Okay.
And so then we went to this version. This version we decided we were kind of moving away from having cars parked on the north end and just turning that into a lawn space. So making it more of a park there. And even by doing this, we were still able to come up with about 60 spaces. And in this version, we're showing the accessible spaces as well. Looking at a variety of different paving materials, the grass pave, which is the grid that would have grass, the gravel pave, which is a grid with gravel, and then asphalt. And then we started, these were drawings that were done by Alex Robinette, just really beautiful drawings, kind of with the overall vision of what that area could look like. So moving, as far as my scope was moving from just the parking lot to looking at more of that area north, and taking that parking lot out, and maybe that could be a place where we have the off-leash area. So that's what this was showing, kind of an overall vision. Also, what this shows is not so much trying to eliminate some fencing, making it a more open field. And this is just a perspective of that idea. So at that point, they came back to me and said, well, would you like to help with working out the dog park area? And we want to see a 0.4 acre and a 0.6 acre. So here we're just kind of looking at square footages. If we left the trail the same and left all the baseball fencing the same, how we could get the square footage. We were looking at different options, even the lower area, which is kind of below the trail. It's a corner of the property down there. And in this version, we were considering changing the fencing and maybe having it more of an organic shape that integrated into this new area. And then we started, actually putting numbers to it. What does 0.4 acres look like? And this version kept the outer trail pretty much the same. We kept the butterfly garden, it's shown there the same, but we moved the baseball fencing. So the red shown there was shifted over, I think that might be 30, 20, what is, I can't read it, but we shifted over and just, you could see how big 0.4 acres is. And then we showed 0.6. Now this version, in order to keep from encroaching too much into the baseball fields, we moved the trail out. We still had it around the perimeter, but it was moved out. You can kind of see where it used to be and how it shifted out to the edge. Okay. And then we came up with kind of a intermediate 0.5 acre and what that would look. The difference in here is that it just doesn't encroach as much into the fields. We're also showing just kind of that green circle down there is where the entrance might be to the off-leash area. This version is another 0.4, but we thought, on paper at least, it looked like that piece of land down there might be a good place to expand the dog park. And on this version, we were thinking having two separate areas, one for small dogs and one's for large dogs. And that area is quite a bit lower, but we were thinking we could still use that land. And here's another version of that. This one is showing an interior trail, and then the existing trail would just be long enough to access the gates to the two parks. Well, we did this, and then we all kind of took a walk over there and looked at it. And it not only is pretty steep from the trail down to the land, but once you get down to that land, it's also not very flat, and it just didn't seem like a viable option. The neighbors that live down below had some concern also about having a dog park that close to their house. So we investigated it, we looked at it, but if you just go out there and look now, it appears to be bigger than it is, but when you actually see where the property pin is, it's not as large as it appears, and we just didn't think it was a good option. It would be very expensive to develop that.
And it would be unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and another concern was you want to be able to see the dogs when you're in there, and there would be areas where you couldn't see them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but and I think throughout this whole process, for me, coming up with bad ideas is just as helpful as coming up with good ones. It helps you get to where you want to go. So, coming from that, we said, well, maybe we'll have an interior trail and an outer trail. this one is showing an interior trail with trees, and I was thinking that would be a backdrop where people could sit. I've shown some benches there and view back. And this version also showing two entrances into the off-leash area. And then this version just had the interior trail. We pushed in order to get the 0.6, we pushed the fencing all the way up to where it starts to drop off. So we were going as far that way as we could, and then we had the interior trail. At this point, we learned that how important the trail was to everyone, and not to shorten it. This to me seemed like it could be a good option, but after hearing, from the public, we realized it probably wasn't that great of an idea. So these next versions, we decided to eliminate that interior trail, at least for the time being. If people used it a lot and wore it down, it could, maybe become a future trail, but we weren't going to dedicate that to a trail. This version did move the existing trail out further, but it has a buffer zone between the proposed fencing and the trail. That was some other feedback we got. It was having that buffer, so if dogs come up to the fence, they're not going to bother people walking. And this was a 0.5 acre version. So we were really fighting for that square footage. This was a 0.55 acre, and really the difference here, we kept the outer design the same. We're just moving further and further into the fields. And this is what 0.6 acres look like. Another thing you might notice is the previous versions, we had trees kind of lining that fence between the two fields, and we got some feedback that that might limit what we could do in the future, so we decided to take those out. And then this is kind of our final version, or at least to this point, this is the latest version we have, and it is just a tiny bit under 0.6. It has the two entrances, the double gated entrances to the dog park. This is showing a removable fence that would be set 10 foot inside where the fence is now on field 2, which would, can be removed outside of the season, and just that whole area would be open. We also removed some fencing. Another thing I didn't point out is these latest versions were going to move the batting cage 10 foot, and that opens up that end. But we got rid of some of the fencing over there, so it would feel, the goal was to make it feel more open when they're not using the fields.
In the butterfly garden?
The butterfly garden really is stretched all along that outer trail, I think, and I'll show a kind of a section in a minute. But
And this is point what acreage?
0.59.
Okay.
So up to this, I think this is probably our best version. There's just some subtle changes. The curves that we used on that fence, and then the way it aligns, it kind of squares up with the parking lot design. It's I think it just has some refinements in it that I like. The other thing is the baselines have been lengthened, especially on that baseball field, by doing the removable fence. The baselines have been lengthened than some of the previous versions. Okay. So I think we're getting close to where we can start looking at design details. This is a design of just what the entrance into the dog park could look like. And I've gone and looked at some other ones, and usually they have the double gates, and they have concrete in that area because it tends to get real muddy. In the fencing, we could use more of a solid fence in areas where there's not a lot of distance between the trail and the dog park, and then we can use more of an open fence where we do have more room to do planting. So this is just showing kind of a design detail of what it could look like. And then this is a cross section showing more of a solid fence. And there'd be planting in between that and the walkway. And then this one shows where we have more room. The kind of extended butterfly garden is what this would be, where we can elevate the planting with berming and with boulders. This is also can be important in kind of managing the runoff. It can filter the runoff and also kind of control, almost sort of like a detention area that could hold water temporarily, and then we could actually control where the water gets discharged. So I think this is a kind of an important detail.
So would this be all along that trail? Would this be on the north end? Where exactly are you looking at this kind of boulder?
This is mainly on the north end.
Because, you know, right beyond where you're talking, in fact, where you're talking about stepping down to if we were to use that lower area, we have a real problem with erosion. So if we did something like this, that would also help with that.
I think it would. We could really
'Cause
control
We wouldn't have the water runoff like it was if this slowed it down.
yeah.
Right.
So I think it does a lot of things, and it wouldn't have to be a continuous height the whole way down, but it could be elevated where it might be seat height in some areas. But just given that extra 18 inches to a foot or 2 foot to elevate the plantings would, and also you can control the soil you put in there. So
So what if we had a 4-inch rain? What would happen to the dog park? You know, we're calling it a dog park, excuse me, but we really need to call it an off-leash area. That is actually what it is. So let's say we got a 4-inch rain. What would happen to those fields? What would happen to the water on those fields? If we had something like this there, would it be able to percolate through there?
I think we could use it to form kind of a detention. So I think it could detain the water for a while, and then we could meter the runoff either
Right.
through pipes or just openings, so we could control the amount it's discharged.
Uh-huh.
And that's going to be something that needs to be worked out later. We don't even have contours, contour information in that area, but I think it's important, and I think it can be used not just visual, but to actually manage the runoff.
Right. That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. This was just I just wanted to show this because it was a sketch of what I thought that off-leash area might look like. This version has the trees in the area we're talking about not putting trees. But this was a fence that I saw at a dog park in Round Rock, and it was very simple. It was just cedar posts and the woven wire galvanized mesh, 5 foot high, and it just seemed to blend in with the surroundings.
My only problem with this is I keep thinking about maintenance for our city staff. I don't know, when it comes to fencing, we're gonna have to consider that.
Yeah. Oh my, Vanna left. Okay.
Be careful about touching that.
I know, I'm not good at This was that park I went to, and I'm just showing this because it seemed effective, and like this is the entrance. It has two gates with concrete. This is an area where they have maintenance, and that's concreted. But this was actually, here's the fence, and then here's the backstop. So they just, that was the fence for the field. And then this is an example of solid type fences, like a palisado fence, that might be considered. I just like this because it blended in.
I like it too.
But there are also other versions of more kind of refined fencing that's been used in the different examples. And then I just put this in to show you where I was as far as construction drawings. I feel like the layout and the grading is finished. I think the only thing remaining is what material we actually use. And the materials we're considering are concrete, asphalt, and a grid, like a gravel pave. And then I just put this in to show that I've done the planting design too. We need to review it, but I think we're pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think that's
Well done, Kurt. I know that was
Thank
a
you.
lot to go through,
Thank
but
you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
I think it was really important for as many people in the public to have an opportunity to be able to see all the things that we've gone through and all the different considerations there have been over time. And that we've really tried to listen both through emails, people coming to meetings, even those of us who occasionally look at social media and try and take some of that feedback and bring it into the discussion. So before we move to materials on the parking lot, I would love to hear y'all's thoughts, feedback, either to Kurt. And I'll just say it right out. My goal is, if possible, for us to send this as a recommendation to council and let them decide. You know, let them have a public hearing, talk about it, get any more input, and decide are we ready as a community to have a separated area? Because I think there's not going to be a better design that we're capable of with Kurt, at least, because this generous man has already done basically 9 more drawings than we originally asked for.
And has the patience of a saint.
Yeah, patience of a saint, and has been really thoughtful. So, Victoria, do you want to?
Oh, I just have a question for Kurt.
Yep.
On, if you could go back to the .59 drawing.
It's the one with the weird hump.
There you go.
Are those bleachers, right?
Oh, yes.
Where, yeah, and are there some, what do you envision for parents seating on both of those sides?
Okay. So they're by the softball field. Those are kind of as-built. Those are drawn to scale. That's what's there. Those 2 bleachers.
The ones in the brown.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. So
And
the,
then I just took those same sizes and put them down here.
on that end,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And is there a fence planned for that area right there by the trail, or? Where that blue, purplish.
That's a new fence.
Okay.
And that's something that, you know, the design of that, we were hoping that it may not have to be chain link. It could be, split rail or something. And I think if we,
Something to open the field of view
Mhm.
across, yeah.
I think we might need to have input from the baseball folks to see what's acceptable, but we'd rather have something that looked more park-like than
Mhm.
just chain link.
What is the thought behind the left field line on the softball field and the distance between that, what looks like a dugout in yellow, and the dog park? So that looks like a large space between the left field line and the fence. Here, I'm gonna just
You
show
mean
you.
where the dugout is, in between
Yes.
the
Yeah.
dugout and the fence?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious what the thought is behind this being a lot of, from a visual standpoint on drawing, unused space versus, and then cutting off a lot of baseball right field versus this coming in here and making this shallower. Unless there's space this was intended to be utilized for, I was just curious.
Yeah, that's what's there currently. That relationship between the fencing and the dugout and the baseline there, that's what's there. I just took that as a unit and shifted it over.
Okay.
So this is what's here now. This is the fence dugout, and here's the
So that's the new dugout with the gold lines?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I think
And
he's
I'll-
asking
The
what,
space behind the
why,
dugout.
why this fence line can't go like
Yeah,
this.
this is very valuable real estate.
Right.
This seems like less valuable real estate. And so I'm just curious if we shrunk this and expanded this, unless there's purpose for that being that
No, I
size.
think just this pinch point here, we wanted to make this where people could still walk through here, so I think that was.
Where are they gonna walk to?
To the
The
trail,
outfield?
to the trail.
To the
Yeah.
Or to the parking
trail,
lot.
the concession-
It's-
well, I guess
It's almost like the leftover of the non-trail trail.
Okay.
yeah.
Got it.
Well, that's why I tend
Allows
to
for
keep going back
egress
to this
from the main
0.55
parking lot.
that
Mhm.
has a more natural curve and gives baseball, just feels like a better use of space
Mm-hmm.
in the 0.55.
And
But then
also, we
also-
were told that the baseball players they don't even hit it out of the infield.
Yeah, it's a much younger group who's using the baseball field compared to the softball.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. I'm in agreement with Laurie though, that
This,
it feels like a more natural shape if you look at
Mhm.
the one drawing. Well, I don't know where that drawing is, but
Here.
it's
I don't know
somewhere.
which one.
this is version B.
So are we talking about asking him to
This
do
one,
yet
Lauren?
another?
No,
we
I'm
have
not.
a version
I'm curious
already
if
that
we
we
landed on
six.
0.59
Wait.
in an awkward shape and of a puzzle piece on 0.59 versus 0.55.
Mm-hmm.
Are we creating an extremely awkward shape for 0.4 acres is my ultimate question, I guess.
Point.
And if we're trying to say, are we recommending one thing? I maybe I'm looking at this in too detailed, but perhaps that level of detail is necessary to ask if we're going to actually recommend something.
I have the same question, because that's why I pulled this one out.
Now, I think this one doesn't really give. You'd be walking on the field to access the. You'd be walking between the dugout and the.
Can you specifically tell me where people would be walking and the use case for what they would be walking? I'm not. It's not a challenge. I'm curious as to the flow of how things would work from a parent.
Yeah, I don't think this
Spectating
one
stand.
works that good because
To the concession stands?
you'd be walking through the.
The
field.
non-existent concession stand.
You'd be
Well-
walking-
Well, just to get to the seating, right? The parent seating behind the backstop, there's no way to get to it without walking
all the way around.
all the way around.
And then what about 0.59? They're just walking straight through baseball?
It shows.
No.
No,
Pick-
it has more room.
That's what that
Yeah,
dead space was
put the
egress.
point line.
That allows people to
Go,
Go
behind,
behind the
dugout.
backstop.
because here you'd be really walking through the field.
I think the better question is for the baseball. So softball, you have margin, you have space for parents and kids to get around. You don't have the same for the baseball field. That field doesn't look usable for games. It looks usable for practice.
What about it seems unusable for the game?
I don't see dugouts. The bleachers are next to each other. Typically have a dugout with bleachers.
We don't have dugouts there today.
I don't know, do we play games there today?
I was just gonna look that up, see if I could find that
That's a
out.
good question.
I think I have
It
your
may
sheet.
be largely practice.
Here you go. I don't know if this tells you.
It looks
No,
like
it's on the,
practice.
that just had the hours, not the specific, sorry,
So what you wanna know is, are you solving for games and practice
Oh.
or just practice?
hold on, that's field, do y'all remember which field that is? Is it 4 or 5?
I think that's 4.
I think it's 4.
4. It only gets used for 1 hour on game day, from 9 to 10.
But
Today.
you're limiting it basically to
That is possible,
practices.
you can eliminate that.
Yeah, you could probably put that on the other field.
So then the other thing, the current baseball field that is utilized for games also doesn't have a dugout. Right? It has a bench, but it doesn't have a dugout.
Yeah.
Which is fine for practice.
But we use it today for games without a dugout.
I don't know if it's less, right now it's part of a big dog park, like it's huge space right now. So I'm not sure, it's been a few years since I've used it for a game, I don't remember how we did it, but it's just more space right now than what you're squeezing it down to. But what Melissa's saying is little more flexibility on game day, and then use it as practice field.
Yeah.
But you're making that call
We're hoping.
Well,
to, I
We-
mean, but
we-
basically you're saying it can't be used for games in the future.
well, no, it could. It's still by that size with the kids, the age they are that are on there. It could still be used for game
Yeah,
day.
'cause you're saying it's
Because it doesn't
T-ball.
have a dugout now,
Basically.
and
It's just
and it
T-ball
wouldn't have a
age.
dugout.
I just
now.
don't want to make decisions that
Yeah.
create future elimination of sports.
But if we don't
Yeah.
have a dugout now, why should we
Yeah,
worry
that's
about
fine. I
it?
was just
Yeah.
clarifying that.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
That field seems just as viable in this design as it is today.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so you're saying the space up in next to the softball field in the dog park would be used for parents to walk from the trail and have some sort of access point to get to the left field
Mm-hmm.
line.
Without having to go all the way around.
Yeah. Okay.
From the parking lot.
It's a much more usable field than the baseball field.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, at least you wanna have one of them to be usable on game day.
Mhm. Well,
And it is
that's,
used, right,
and that
for
is
softball
what
games.
is. The softball games are used much more on game days than the baseball.
Cause all of the AU plays that, that's their home field for the AU
Mhm.
softball. I think parents and the players need space. Like, the games get very crowded during game day. There's a lot of people back there. It's a nice space. You have that tree over the
Mhm.
bleachers. And I think that space is more useful than the outfields of the
Mhm.
fields.
Good.
Asked and answered. Got it.
I don't know if you need a fence, so the dugout fence makes sense. I don't know if you need a fence all the way down the side going past the dugout. I mean, it kind of demarcates the dugout from
Mm-hmm.
the non-dugout space, but you could argue, to Sean's point, if you got rid of that bottom part of the fence, you'd have more flexibility with the design.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there some discussion about?
I'm thinking, and this is just out loud, I don't know if Kurt's thinking this, is just in a game, like, it's a great visual reminder of, hey, be looking for foul balls.
Yeah,
Like,
stay
if
away.
you're in the, I don't know how many feet that is from the baseline. What do you think, like 30 feet?
Yeah, it's good for safety, you're right, because if someone's walking from the parking lot to the bleachers and they're in that space that I'm talking about, you can get hit with a foul ball versus that's protecting them. So I
Yeah.
do agree with that.
Do people currently stand? Like, I mean, I know I've been in a lot of baseball games. Sometimes people will stand behind the backdrop as
Mhm.
a place to spectate.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Siblings too are gonna be
Mhm.
running around.
Yeah.
So in this one, just to reiterate, Kurt, his point is the backstops would be the primary fences for the games, and then we could have fences that were more visually pleasing, but more a directive to people of like, hey, you're in the field of play, not so much we're containing you in because you don't need it for the kid. I mean, some people might argue that 5-year-olds need a fence between them and the parking lot. Or at least a visual.
And did I hear that the green dotted line separating the off leash area and the fields is going to be a temporary fence?
No.
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 What did I hear about? The temporary fence is on the other side,
On the other
Yeah.
side.
the left field line of the
So we can
baseball.
open
You
up the
are
whole.
right that we talked about that
It was
last
mentioned.
time, and it's something that, at least in the design meeting, we all said we want it to be clear that the dog off-leash area is a permanent
It's a
fence.
fixed
Oh, it's a fixed fence. That's not coming down to have a great lawn. The one that would come down is out of season. You could have from field 2, that outfield, that one could be a temporary one.
Got it.
And when I say temporary, we want it to have sleeves that are very much, solid, that they're real fences when they're up during the season, but then out of season, we'd be able to take them down.
So are you talking about out of season, you would actually totally remove that fence between the softball and these other two smaller fields?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So it'd be a big lawn.
How are you gonna protect the infield from,
From
you know,
what?
e-bikes and such?
E-bikes?
Well, already it's,
It's a problem.
It's-
They're tearing
yeah.
up our trail.
yeah.
If someone goes on there with an e-bike, they should be thrown in jail.
You know what, it's really hard to catch them, and I've talked to some of the kids that I think have been,
Well, I guess we could move the temporary fencing in and just fence out that area, because that's a lot of money that's getting messed up. And while I love the idea of a big open field, when it's not in season, the reality is that's gonna cost money to replace. I don't know, I just think it might be a good idea to try and at least protect the money that they've put into making the infield. But they need to be here to, I guess, to give us that feedback. Either that or we
Well,
pay
those
for it.
fields are like they're not locked every day.
Right, but
So
I think
they
they're-
do have a fence around them that does help protect them, and that can be something we can talk about, you know. But today we're talking about an off-leash area.
okay.
I think it should be considered.
Okay. Yeah. So
On the record.
something to
Yeah.
protect the infield. And it could be that the temporary fence moves from being outfield to just around the.
Well, that's
That's what you
exactly
said.
what
Yeah,
my point was.
Yeah.
Because Steve Frank was talking about how expensive that got,
Oh yeah.
and they farmed it out this year for the first time.
Yeah.
And I would really hate to see the expense they put into it just sort of
Yeah.
gone.
Agreed.
Okay, last question.
Yeah.
Is this sliver right here, this triangle, are we encroaching into softball's left field? Do they hit it that far? And is it that important that we carve out that space versus here for the dog park or off-leash area? Or is it really important to get to .59 because Kevin and council have made.
Well, we're going from one point
that's-
two. So we're already at half, less than half of what we currently have. So I see it as pretty important.
Well, I feel like it's just a number, something in your head, and we can't get past that it has to be this, and so we come up with designs that get us as close to that as possible, but maybe aren't
Well, this is not the way it
aesthetically
started.
pleasing. But yes.
Is
to
that
get to the
portion
number.
utilized in softball? Like, do they hit it far enough to where that is now encroaching into their field of play?
Not at the age group, not at the age group.
Okay.
But
So
don't
no.
the older girls use that?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, they're on two. Yeah.
Okay.
They had, the AU girls had to pick up a lot of poop before the games this last weekend, and I think they'd rather have, give up a little
They'd
bit.
rather have less field and it be clean than.
Yeah, I asked the dads that had to do the picking up of the poop. They were not happy. They'd rather have that.
Well, you realize, of course, that if the dogs aren't on there, you're going to have open access from wild animals and stuff that are gonna, so you guys are gonna be faced with poop no matter what
We found
happens.
some
Deer
poop
poop,
on
raccoon
field
poop.
one,
Yeah.
there was poop on field one, but it's caged in. But if this plan that, like we were discussing, it's gonna be open, so no one's, I don't think people are gonna let their dogs run on the softball, baseball, because it's not fully enclosed.
Yeah, but she's talking about deer, there's a
yeah.
lot of,
Oh, yeah.
one time I was out there picking up my dog's poop, and I'm talking years ago, I don't take my dog there much anymore, but and then I saw some more, so I started picking it up, and then it was all around me, I realized it was deer. There's
Yeah.
a lot of deer out
Oh,
there.
yeah. It's an outdoor sport.
Yes,
We
it
get
is an outdoor,
We understand that it's,
little girls may not,
Okay.
and poop is poop to a little girl.
yeah, the majority of the poop we've found is dog. I'd
Okay.
say there's, occasionally there is other animals, some
I'm just
sort
saying that it's not gonna go away, just the dog,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
of- oh, yes. But it's,
Alright,
So I would love
bring
to
this
hear if
in.
there's a motion. Do we have a motion?
I wouldn't know how to word it.
Do we have a motion to support the design of a 5.9 acre as Kurt has drawn?
Actually, I love it. I'll make that motion. I'll make a motion to send this to council, the 0.59 acre to council that Kirk has drawn.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Do we have more discussion?
I'd like to make an amendment that we also give the council the choice of revising things on their own if they wish to continue as is with the efforts that we've been putting in to solve problems that we are already familiar with and already address, rather than looking at problems that we're going to be creating without any thought about the resolution of them as well. Whether it's conflict from breaks and curbs and fences and cars, etc. I think there are issues of safety and such that everybody is rushing into creating a situation for what I frankly believe is a minority of the community as a whole. I think that some of the stuff that we talked about, letters and other things that are coming in, some of the comments that I'm hearing and such have really distressed me and really concerned me, because people are not expressing their opinion. What they're doing is they're coming up and saying something like, well, I don't want to get involved in this because I play golf with such and such. Or somebody else will come up and say, well, I don't want to write a letter. I feel like I'm getting a target painted on my back. So I don't feel these people are being heard, and I don't feel that they're being represented, and they're not being heard because they're not speaking, so that's obviously on them. But we're setting about to underserve a majority of our community that takes part in the fields. We're up there every day, twice a day, and I'm sorry we don't get all the poop picked up. We try. We do groups that do it. We even have Public Works makes a sweep, especially before ball games. We're working on the problems that exist. We're working on trying to get along. And I think this sends entirely the wrong message. It's saying a minority of people can express an opinion and the others just don't want to get involved.
Because they're not loud enough.
Yes, yes.
So,
And they don't want to be loud enough because they don't want targets painted on their back.
Well, I don't feel like there's
so
any
hold
target.
on. We have a motion on the
Excuse me, I'm
table.
sorry.
Can you tell me what the amendment was? Can you say that again?
That council, obviously, they're in control in the sense that they can choose what they want to review and what they don't want to review. But yeah, the thought of let's continue working on the problems that we're making progress with solving, rather than eliminating all that work and throwing in a whole batch of new problems to be addressed.
We need to figure out how to make
Sounds
that
vague.
into an amendment.
Yeah, I don't understand that amendment. Sorry. So are you, can you say it in a sentence?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can vote for this, or they can vote to leave it the way it is.
Oh, I see. So
But
you're,
we're making a recommendation.
this motion is just for this.
Okay, cool, fine.
And so, and it's okay to vote against it, it's okay to, and that's really, I think what you're saying is, telling council they can decide to either accept this or not.
That is not, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Okay.
phrasing that better for me. I
Yeah.
wasn't doing well.
So I won't, no amendment, but
Fine.
there was more discussion about, just making sure council is listening to the entire community about it.
Thank you, yeah.
So,
Yep.
I'm sorry, but so we don't have to, there's a choice to not vote for anything then.
Yeah, so you could, we have a motion and a second. We're having discussion about whether this is something we want to send to council to consider. Council then can look at this and say, we want more details. They can vote it up or down. That's really where we are right now.
See, I guess I felt like this was being forced on us, quite honestly.
By,
The community at large.
you shouldn't feel like it's forced on you. This, in my mind, this is, what we've been asked to do is see if there's a possibility for us to create an off-leash area. And this is where we've gotten to, design-wise. It's okay, you can even make a motion and vote against it.
Okay, good. Then we can
Yeah.
go ahead and vote.
Yeah. So, but the question is this something we feel council should discuss?
I've been in the same boat that you're in, Diana, with the feeling that there are people that are not speaking up. And I agree with you about the fact that there's a whole community out there that has used this park for years that are not gonna stand up for themselves. it's really hard to consider that when they won't come forward. In my opinion, people have asked for this option, the vocal people who, and there are others, you know, not coming that we won't hear from. I see it as our role to try and come up with something, because if those people do come forward, my understanding is they're not coming here. They're gonna go to council. So in order to hear from those people, we've gotta send it to council. That may be where they show up, and I hope they do, if they feel that strongly. I have been here long enough to know how the dog people have been able to use the whole park and have been whittled down. I also, having raised children and done the baseball thing, understand about the mess on the field and having to clean that up, and it's hard, and the conflict has never gone away. So hopefully they'll come to council if we send something there for them to speak up about. And I really hope they will, because at that point, it's not a target on their back as much as it is, let's come together and discuss it. They have to have something to discuss. That's what I'm hearing. That's why baseball's not here, because they don't have anything to discuss that's actually being considered. So maybe if we send it to council, that's where it will be. I'm really starting to learn the limitations of the park commission, because I feel very strongly that if we do anything, parking lot, fields, that we really need to look at that lease, because there's some things in it that could be fine-tuned so that we get a little bit of help with the parking lot, keeping it in shape, keeping people parking where they should park and not where they shouldn't park. And are we gonna be able to accommodate dogs at the same time as baseball? I don't know. So in my mind, unless we send it up to council to be considered, we'll never find these answers.
Well, I think we're also losing sight of, there are some good things about separating this. You guys won't be kicked off the dog park. You will have it year round every day. Whereas right now,
247.
when there's practices and different things, I feel like I guess I feel that we're not taking away, we're changing things, but there are benefits to the changes. I mean, it's a give and take on both sides.
Yep.
Nobody's getting a total win-win here, but it does feel like the right thing to do for our kids. And I love the fact that you guys will not be kicked off the dog park. Any day, you get to go whenever you want. So I feel like we're losing sight of the benefits and only talking about the challenge. Anyway, we can go
Yeah.
off the motion. Or did you want to talk?
I was just gonna say, I think the current Ronald Hasso, 2810 Pickwick. The current situation with the shared use is not sustainable, and nowhere else is doing it because it's a public health hazard.
Right. Which
So
is how we
something
got.
needs to change. This is a wonderful compromise. It's bigger than I would like for the off-leash area, but this looks like a good design. A lot of people have chimed in. We've gotten input about softball and different things. I think this is a great option to send up to council and see what the public thinks about it. I think it would be a grave mistake, and it would undo everything y'all have been working on for the past however long to give them the option to do nothing, because that's not sustainable, and it's embarrassing to our city that kids are playing in poop. There will be natural poop, but if we can remove poop, we should remove poop, is my position.
Thanks, Ron.
All right, anybody else wanna say? Okay, well, we have a motion, and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously. I really admire you guys, because, and I hope people out there will listen to this. We are neighbors. We need to be respectful and kind in our discussions with each other, and look for solutions that are win-wins. And I promise you, if you come and speak at Parks Commission, we will not boo you. We will not key your car outside. We really do want your input. Bad things won't happen to you. And I want to say the same thing about council. And it is, the way that humans stop getting to have a democracy is when they don't participate in it. And so please, 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 if you have strong feelings about it, please come to council tomorrow night and give your input. But come, my advice to you, and my biggest successes have had when I write it down, I keep it succinct, less than a minute, and don't make it personal or emotional, and really try to just get your idea out there. So, but your ideas are welcome and wanted, and we want to come up with a solution that gets as many people out in the park as possible.
Does this go to council
It does.
Yeah.
And that's really good advice. Keep it succinct and keep all emotion out of it. Just keep it.
Easier said than done.
Yes, Kevin.
All right, Kevin Shell, City Council. I'm really glad that nobody asked me to talk today. I think we have talked too much at this meeting, so it's really good to hear all of you. But I did just want to chime in. If y'all know anybody on either side of this, or any side of anything that is afraid to talk, please have them reach out to me. I'll talk to them. I'll keep it private, but I want to hear, because I haven't made up my mind. I don't think anybody will. I think the majority of the council is still open to hearing how things are going and people's input, and I recognize all the reasons why people don't want to do it, don't have time, feel like uncomfortable wanting to talk, but please send them my way at least. I mean, should be able to talk to any of us, but I'm telling you, I will make the time to talk to people on this topic. And I've gone to the dog park and said that to people up there, gone to the Little League games and practices and said that to there. And I keep hearing that people are still scared, and I'm like, I don't know what else to do. So I'm saying it now, and I'm going to stop talking today. But if you know anybody else, please send them to us.
I appreciate that, Kevin.
Yeah.
I will say one thing. One time, again, I don't use the dog park very often just because I have a ranch and I take my dog there. But I was at the dog park one day, and somebody that y'all know walked by, and she looked at me. She goes, "Aha! You use the dog park." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I guess I do."
Yeah.
Yeah, really? I caught you.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I look forward to really a robust conversation at council and learning more about where we get with that. The next part of this meeting, one of the things that has come up in our design, real quick, check-in. Can we go to 115?
Yes.
Yeah?
Are we
Yes.
moving to
Okay.
7?
What?
Are we moving to 7?
We are moving to, yes, 7.
So, may I ask you a question real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah, yeah.
I looked at our agenda last week and had all these attachments, as well as the engineering study that was, or report, whatever it was, that
Yes.
was really helpful.
Yes.
That report's gone.
Oh.
Or I looked for it right before the meeting and couldn't find it.
It's on the HTML link.
Is it? Because I couldn't click on it.
It's hard to find. I had the same issue
Is
on
it?
Friday.
Well, I found it earlier.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. None of mine are clickable.
Are you on the packet HTML or the agenda?
You know, I've tried all 4 under agendas and packets, and it's not.
Or go to the HTML. And then Lori, under the Rolling Lake Park Design Group meeting.
Oh, there they
for
are,
some
but they
reason
weren't
that
there earlier. Okay,
The letter got
great,
into
thank you.
the middle of all of Kurt's drawings. I was able to find it later, and I was like,
Well, I found it going through today's meeting, but not the design meeting, so it's all good. Wants to help me.
So,
Okay, I
This-
couldn't find these.
so if we're good to 115, what I want to do is talk about the Lochner engineering. So it was really helpful for them to give us some information about the different surfaces that we can use in the parking lot. I will say, I have come to change my thoughts about it. You know, we, for the longest time, had been looking towards that what is it? True Grid? Thank you, the True Grid. And really liked the idea of it being more natural, having more moisture, being able to get through it, having it be rock or DG. What we've learned from this engineering study is that we are going to be reducing the amount of impervious cover by almost 10% by getting rid of the north parking lot, which is a huge gain. Kurt, as a designer, basically said to me, he goes, so a parking lot is a parking lot. You can't really make it any more pretty than a parking lot. When you have cars in it, it's just going to be covered anyway. And so what we ought to be doing is spending our money and time and efforts of beautification around the parking lot, in the plantings, in the boulders, in really making it look more like what our new retaining wall and our playground area look like, making it look like the drawings that he showed earlier on what that entrance. And don't try to make it any better than it has to be, the actual surface area. And because of this engineering study, we now know that as far as the runoff and that kind of stuff, we don't have to be as worried about it getting through TCEQ by having to build some sort of big retaining area or ponding, because all of the plans we have right now will reduce the pervious cover, the impervious cover, even if we went with cement or asphalt. So, I don't know if I said that very well, or if you guys have had
I
a
think
chance to
you
read
did.
through that engineering
That was good.
study, but it has sort of changed my mind. I'm a lot more comfortable now with the asphalt and cement. The biggest difference between the True Grid, the asphalt, and the cement is maintenance. The True Grid will definitely have more maintenance, both in terms of getting rocks in it and it being able to walk on it and fill it. You can't really put if you put DG in that as your rock, it actually would become impervious. It wouldn't have the benefits of having just the pebbles or the stones in it. Cement, it has a longer life. It was closer to, I think, 30 years. The asphalt has more dips and ponding that can have in it, and is a little bit less expensive, but over the lifetime of it, again, if we're looking at the 30-year life of it, you're probably going to have to do more maintenance on it. So
15 to 20 for asphalt and 25 to 40 for concrete.
yeah,
And is asphalt hotter? I mean,
it's black.
yes.
Yes.
right. It's going to
Yeah.
be more warm, right? It's going to
Yeah.
generate more of a heat island than concrete.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me
Now,
add,
one of the people, real quick, that we do have on here in case you guys have more technical questions is Rob. He's been listening into the whole thing. Is he still there? Yep, great. And Rob is who just thank you, has very successfully helped us with a bunch of the drainage and street construction that we just got to test out on the last few rains. So if you have more specific questions about concrete, I know I'm not supposed to use cement, but that's concrete, asphalt, or the True Grid, Rob is here to answer those questions.
I love the way the concrete looks. I would love it if we could afford that.
I agree.
I think, I love the fact that it doesn't stink.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way it looks. I love the way it lasts. But I also know it's more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But in this study, it talks about over the life cycle, costs may be lower than asphalt over a 30-year horizon because concrete typically requires less frequent structural maintenance.
Yeah.
So you might end up at the same price point overall.
Yeah, over time. Rob, anything else you want to add to that?
Great, thank you.
Yeah, he said concrete.
What did he say about expansion? I'm sorry, I have hearing aids now.
He didn't say anything about expansions. He just
No.
said
Oh,
over
that's-
time it's less maintenance.
Okay.
It'll
okay.
last longer.
Thank
But
you.
it's about twice the cost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's the
Initially,
same
but
initially.
over the lifespan of it, comparable.
Okay.
And
But
comparable
much
in
better
price
looking.
to True Grid,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
whereas asphalt is half of those two.
Okay,
I just have a
Kevin?
question.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me about this, and I just want to hear y'all's thoughts on it, do you have concerns about having parking lots with different materials in different parts of the park? We have asphalt over here, we do concrete over there, do you care?
I don't care.
No.
Uh,
I think most people go to one or the other and probably never put those two things together.
It's a park.
It's hard to answer that in the abstract, though. I mean, you're not talking about the east to west
No,
one
I'm
being
talking about
asphalt and
this
this
one
one
right
being
here.
concrete.
We've got asphalt over here, if we do something new over here, I mean, people care about aesthetics and all that kind of stuff.
Our landscaping's
that's
gonna be
asphalt
so
up there?
beautiful, they won't even notice.
This wasn't my concern.
Yes.
That's the message.
You just bring in what the people are asking.
Asking the park commission for your opinion.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion?
What would you like the motion to be, one material over the other? I will make a motion that we do concrete
I
because
will
it's
second that
much
motion.
better looking and it lasts longer, and there's less maintenance. So yeah, that's the motion.
And it doesn't stink.
It doesn't stink.
I like that.
I will second that motion.
Great. Any discussion? All right. All in favor say aye.
I
Look how
Kurt?
quickly we worked on that.
Kurt, we are making all kinds of progress here.
Yeah, and the reason I had my switch, I just want to say, I just had nightmares that we'd build this beautiful parking lot, and then 6 months later, we come. It really hit me a couple of weeks ago when we had that storm, and there's granite all through the, washed everywhere. And I thought, oh, if this doesn't turn out good, they're gonna say, why didn't you just use asphalt? Why didn't you just do the easy one?
I hate that you're dreaming about this.
No, I am. I'm thinking about that. But the other thing that I really want to make sure of is that we protect those trees.
Yes.
And whatever we can do, to hand dig or to air spade around those trees. And if we have to, I don't want to lose any spaces. If we had to lose a couple of spaces, that may not even be an option. But we may need to do something a little different around those trees that, protects the roots.
Well, now that we
Agreed.
know what material we're using, we should have that guy back out because I'm sure that bid is so old by now, he wouldn't
Yeah.
honor it anyway. So now that we have a material.
Yeah.
In your dreams, Kurt, when you're saying asphalt, do you mean asphalt or concrete interchangeably versus the True Grit, or you set on asphalt?
No, I think my two options I think would be the best would be asphalt or concrete, or asphalt with concrete.
He's just saying we wouldn't have the gravel issues if we.
Yeah, I
went
was just
that.
making sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kurt, when we were first talking about the entrance, and we were actually out there, and we were looking at that oak tree that's right there on the edge, and you had recommended just leaving what's there so that we didn't have to, and that's concrete, correct? But,
Right as you turn in, yes.
But we're talking about leveling that out a little bit so it's not such of a.
yeah, but my understanding in that meeting was that concrete was the best medium at that point in that area.
I think what does the most damage to those trees is to excavate out. If you keep, they've had the spill on them for quite a while.
So we
And
could,
so if we can kind of keep that grade the
Okay.
same, it's still, I think it's going to affect the permeability a little bit. But probably not much because it has compacted base on it right now.
so we could just patch over that
That's what I'm
in order
thinking.
to make it a smoother grade than what it is.
Oh yeah,
Make it-
yeah,
It would
that.
still be okay for the trees.
The other thing with concrete, it's not as flexible. It's asphalt. You've seen it flex a little bit, and those oak tree roots are shallow, and
Yeah.
so that's another concern. That maybe even in the critical root zone of those trees, we do something even different in there.
Well,
Maybe
you know what I've
DT or
seen, I was
something.
just in New Orleans and I was looking around where some of the where an area where they had concrete, and what they did up close to the base of the trees is they used stone. And it was really, really handsome. It was just a design around the base of the tree, the concrete up to a point, and I don't know if it was 6 or 10 foot out from the tree, it was just a stone design around the tree. And that way, when the roots bulge up, the stones worked with it. So, people that do the plantings of trees like this, they know how to do this.
I just think that needs to be thought through a little more.
Yeah.
But it's just a small percentage of the whole parking lot.
Right.
Yeah. I can't remember, maybe Alan, we have sent the recommendation for this design of the parking lot to council? Okay, great. All right. All right, we have maybe 4 more minutes or so. Do we have time for mosquitoes? Because mosquitoes are out.
Yeah,
They are.
quick on mosquitoes. There was a lot of pushback on the usage of, it's not insecticide, but even a natural insecticide. Alex Robinette had brought this up as something, we don't want to kill the pollinators, right, in addition to the mosquitoes. So the people who brought this to me in the first place are now researching options that have, basically use carbon dioxide and try to attract the mosquitoes versus killing a bunch of things. And so there is more research that's being done as an alternative option to something that would kill the mosquitoes.
That's pretty cool, they're gonna do that for us.
Who's they?
The people that brought that to you, that they're willing to do the research on the carbon,
Yeah, it's Ronald's.
Oh.
Ronald has some of them
I
too.
think
so
I have
he's
one.
helping
It's a
with it.
mosquito system. There's different versions, but they use a CO2 tank and electricity to attract the mosquitoes. We just had one installed, so I can't really say yet whether it works, and it takes time to establish killing the stuff nearby. But we have one at our house. It's supposed to work for up to an acre, reduce it, and it has no impact on the pollinators or any of that stuff. So we like that. But
and it has what in it? Carbon what?
it uses a CO2 tank, like a big, I don't know, carbon dioxide tank, and combines that with electricity. The technology is above my pay grade. It's designed by 2 women in Ukraine, the one we have, and it's supposed to be really great. TBD on whether it works well, but it seems like a great natural solution, and more people are going this way.
All
Do
right,
you know what
very
the
good.
technology's called? Like,
Let me look it up, and I
Okay.
can find a link for it.
Great.
that'd be great, thank you.
Perfect. Thanks. All right, discussion possible action on proving Friends of Rollingwood Park online presence. That seems like a big topic to not discuss
Yeah,
today.
I'd rather
Did
not
we
rush
need
through
to-
that one.
Yeah.
Did
Go
we
ahead.
need to vote on the parking lot thing? We did. We did.
Voted on the concrete.
Oh, I heard the second, I didn't hear the vote, okay.
Didn't we say all in?
Yeah.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's just my ADD kicking
No,
in.
that's okay. Great.
My hour is
In
almost
case you were
over.
wondering, you voted yes.
Good, that's all I care about, okay, good.
Purpose, discussion regarding the purpose and roles of the Park Commission. Oh, and, well, I don't know really, I mean, I think we did a good job today, so we're good on that purpose. But I do wanna get to number 11, which is in the bylaws or whatever, the ordinances, it actually says that the Parks Commission is supposed to create a list of proposed capital improvement projects to submit to the city for consideration. I'm gonna consider that off-leash area
I was gonna
and the
say.
concrete, our job well done for this year. If
Yes.
we can get that done this year, that would be amazing, cause that will include plantings and, kind of finishing out and fencing. One thing I do want to, because we talked about this in our design meeting, but we have not mentioned it now, I wanna be crystal clear to any of those people who just got their pitchforks and thought they were going to council to say that Western Hills Little League doesn't have the money to pay for any of these improvements. The improvements that we're talking about, creating the off-leash area and moving existing fences, we do not expect the Little League to be paying for those changes. That would be something that between RCDC and the city that we would do that. Would we love to have some Western Hills Little League parents and be friends of the park and help contribute to those improvements? Absolutely, we would love, and those will be tax deductible checks that you can write to us. But we're not going to be pushing the Little League to be putting up those fences and making those improvements.
Just want to add to your question. I do appreciate the sentiment for like asking the city to do all these big improvements, but if there is smaller stuff, we do need to know what it is because we're going into black season. So
When?
Now,
talk about it at your next meeting.
We also have.
Because
to list
mosquito
someone.
treatment would
We do.
fall into
Yeah.
that
Well, then,
consideration.
And we need to look at lower
Do your
park.
walkthrough,
Yes.
give us our stuff. 'Cause
Agreed.
We just do budget season every year during start, late summer. So I appreciate the big things, but there is smaller stuff.
yeah.
I think a lot of our smaller stuff is maintenance,
Mhm.
not necessarily capital improvements.
Make a list.
We'll make a list. We'll work
Make a
on that
list.
list.
That's it, just do your walkthrough.
Do we have people signed up for the next quarterly walkthrough? We do not. When is the next quarter?
We just did
considered?
one a few weeks ago.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
So we probably have 3 more months before we have the next. Okay, so at the
Wait
next
until
meeting.
that heat sets in August
Yeah.
and take your trip around.
Exactly.
Yeah, the report should be in there. Oh, okay.
Oh, great.
One of the main things we came up with was erosion.
Well, maybe this new trail with its berms will prevent some of that erosion.
And there's a lot of weeds.
Great. I want to thank you guys. I know this has been a long haul. It's not over yet. There will be more details to consider, but I'm really proud of this group, and I really appreciate them showing up and being so positive and respectful.
I just asked for trees.
I know. And we're going to get those trees with this design. All right.
That
well,
feels like a lifetime ago that
I know.
we went through. Just think about all of that is. I mean, there'll be trees, but not the trees
And
we
it
thought.
started off because the scouts asked if they could do a shade project. I said, let's do the ultimate shade, which is trees.
Yeah.
And here we are.
All right, motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Great. Second?
I'll second it.
Second. All in favor say aye.
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 All right, done. Thank you.